Casey McGregor, Rochester. I'm here speaking against SF 538. This is theft. Theft of the voices of Minnesotans. In Minnesota, we have 87 counties. In the 2022 governor election, on the election map, 13 counties are blue, 74 counties are red, yet the DFL is in control. This is popular voting. 39.5 million in California versus 5.71 million in Minnesota, per the last census. Minnesota would lose their voice to other states, just like 74 counties here in Minnesota. No amendments, no compromises on bills. The people in red counties are already living in this nightmare. I don't understand why either team, red or blue, you'd want to lose your voice to California, Texas, and Florida, the top 3 in population census. Why would you want this for Minnesota? Please vote no on Bill SF 38. It is the theft of voices of all Minnesotans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senators. I'm from Cannon Falls, Minnesota. Why are we here? We're here to discuss a bill that will subsequently, if approved by enough states, will potentially take away the voices of the majority of Minnesotans on who they desire to serve as our President, Commander-in-Chief. Why are we here? We're here for a bill that, if approved by Minnesota and enough other states equaling 270 electoral votes, will fundamentally alter our country to the very core. When I, my neighbors, my family members go to the polls in November to elect the president, if Minnesota decides as a state that we want this president, but more people in larger population states, as have already been mentioned, California, New York, Texas, Florida, want a different president, also played by a different set of election rules, our voices in Minnesota, and especially all the smaller states, will have been null and void. Why are we even considering this? Our founders feared the tyranny of the majority. When this bill is proposing exactly what our founders did not want, a law where 51% could control the 49%, where the heaviest populated states ruled. They realized the tremendous importance everyone's voice is to build a country of the people, by the people, and for the people. Every American's voice counts. We will not tolerate being silenced in our voting booth for our president. The fact is, this is what Great Britain was doing when our country was founded, and we did not tolerate it back then, and we will not tolerate it today. This bill is not progress, it's regress. But that's why I'm here today, to remind you of what has worked for over 247 years and what has not worked from where we came from, Great Britain. Thank you for your time.
Members of the committee, my name is John Wilcox and I come from Cannon Falls. I stand here in opposition to Senate Bill 538. As a student of our nation's history, I am fascinated by our founders' knowledge and foresight. Each of them brought a passion and zeal to the floor where issues were often tirelessly worked through. One thing stands out among those debates, and that was their unwavering defense of liberty. That any article, any resolution, or amendment must safeguard the rights of every citizen. As representatives, they had to take a stand against anything that presented itself as a threat to those liberties. When I examine the current issues facing our state legislature, I am concerned that a direction is being set forth that appears to ignore the potential devastating effects of this bill. I suggest that this is because we are a people that have not lived under the oppressive taxation or power yielded by a single power, as did our forefathers. As such, they established safeguards that would protect the states against an individual or a group of individuals from forcing their will upon the masses. Such was the case with the strategy and implementation of the Electoral College. For those who consider the National Popular Vote Compact to be the answer, I offer the following concerns. Typical supporters of NPVC, the National Popular Vote Compact, have tied the fate of Democratic presidential candidates as a means of assuring their candidate's success. Since the partisan divide is what drives the NPVC movement, what happens when the electorate shifts to the opposite party? How will the presidential elections be resolved if pressure by this shift causes them to withdraw from the NPVC? What happens if the national popular vote is close? What if a state or group of states demands a recount? The NPVC motto is one man, one vote, but it's just the opposite. What happens if no candidate gains the required popular votes? Is a state forced to compromise with other states to satisfy that requirement? Or is that decision left to one elected state official? In my estimation, this bill will not only strip power away from the people, but it will grant additional power to a few elected officials within our state government. It will create the very thing our founders warned about. Such power goes against our founding principles, and rather than have a representative government, will move us toward mob rule. It is my sincere hope that this body will look deeply into the possibilities that no one, not even the members of this chamber, will be untouched by the passage of SF 538. In my opinion, Minnesota will become a flyover state. Many of its citizens will be eliminated or alienated, and our state will lose the ability to competitively participate in broad interstate negotiations with the success it has historically experienced. That's my comments. Thank you for your time.